Are you ready to unleash your full potential? Hello and welcome to the Peak Performance Hour, where we dive deep into the secrets of success and empower you to take your life and career to the next level fast. I am Susan Urban, your host and peak performance coach, and I'm here to guide you on a transformative journey toward greatness. Each week, I will tackle your burning questions and provide live coaching sessions that will propel you toward your goals at lightning speed. Now, whether you're striving for better health, greater wealth, or more happiness, I've got the science-based strategies and proven tactics to help you achieve it all. No dream is too big, and no challenge is too daunting when you have the right mindset and the right guidance. So buckle up and get ready to shatter your limits. And join me as we embark on this exhilarating quest for peak performance. Your extraordinary future starts now. Hello and welcome. I'm very excited to be here with you, and we are joined by an incredible, tremendous lady. Her name is Karen Lennox. Karen, hello and welcome.
Hi, Susan. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be here, and it's been a while. It's probably been about a year since we sat together in an interview. So I'm grateful to have that opportunity again.
I am grateful to have you on here, and we're going to actually talk about quite a juicy topic. I know you had a question, as I know a lot of people right now are stressed and anxious, and there's just so much going on in the world. So first of all, I kind of want to go back a little bit and then go back to that later, because this is so important. So Karen, you and I met about 5 years ago, and you became my client. We worked together for a while, and the growth that I have seen in you and in your business, in your career, in your personal life, in your health is just absolutely phenomenal. And so, yes, I am totally bragging about you because you deserve to be bragged about. So how about this? Let's get on to your question, because I thought it was such a great question, and I think it will serve a lot of people. And then I kind of want to go back to you, because there's some things I want to share with our audience, because you are an absolutely amazing role model when it comes to certain things. So would that be okay with you?
Sure.
So what was your question in regard to the topic for today, right? Is thriving in turmoil.
How do you thrive in turmoil and still manage to keep a good attitude and focus on what it is that you really need to do? And the recipe for me has been to cut just about everything and everybody off who, I don't want to say they don't serve me well, but they're not like-minded. They have got to go, because I can only do so much with my brain capacity being what it is. Most people wouldn't know if they didn't know me. I see that I need to just focus, set a goal, focus, and keep on that focus. I spend the better part of a night in meditation, deep meditation. That's the last thing I do. My friends laugh. I'm like, where is my meditation? I call it up on YouTube, and they just start cracking up. I'm like, you all could laugh. It doesn't matter. This is getting me to where I need to go. I suffer less anxiety, less stress. I'm not perseverating as much. You know, I think this is where I got to go. This is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to get it done. I'm getting it done. I mean, it's very, very beneficial. People don't realize that those meditations that you see on YouTube with all the frequencies and vibrations are there for a reason. It's there to help you raise your self-awareness and develop into a better human being. But if you don't know, or no one shares that with you, then you don't have any way of harnessing what it is you need to harness so you can move ahead to the next step. And it's not easy because we struggle with so many things every day. What's on TV? Should I eat this? Should I eat that? How much money am I going to have? If you begin to meditate and focus intently on what it is that you want, it will come into alignment for you, and that's exactly what you're going to get.
Love it. Focus. My takeaway from you is focus on the things that you can control, and also become aware of the things that could potentially distract us. Like, I think you and I, a couple of days ago, had this conversation where the news and what's happening across the world and in that country. And as much as, of course, I think it's important for us to have sympathy and empathy and compassion. But as you said, Karen, what's happening in your world, in our little world, right? That's what really matters, because that's where we can make a difference. I mean, I like the analogy. If, let's say, we were to drive in a car down a road and all of a sudden we get to a car accident, and God forbid, the ambulance, the police is already there, first responders, what would be the best use of our time? Would it be best to stop and gawk and now, take up more space and get in the middle of it? Just like the news sometimes can do that to us, where we just stop and now we watch and we get engrossed in the pictures and the visuals, and that of course changes our emotional state. And now we already spent 5 minutes, which turns into 15, and then 50 minutes, and then 2 hours into watching, where now we just wasted 2 hours, because the truth is, we can't make a difference that way, but we can make a difference in our little world. Would you agree?
Yes. Over the last year, I have begun to master my subconscious so that the same things that used to bother me don't. It's like a form of emotional control. You can still feel the roller coaster riding in your body. Sometimes I'll squeeze my feet, sometimes I'll squeeze my hands, just to curtail that energy that feels uncomfortable. But then from the discomfort, we experience growth as well.
You mentioned something earlier too. You used the word self-awareness. And I remember when we first met, as you said earlier, 5 years ago, which is hard to believe.
I didn't have a clue.
Well, not only, I wouldn't say you didn't have a clue. I would say that you were in a, let's just say, a really interesting place with your health, with your relationships, with your career, and so many challenges. And I know that your mindset wasn't as it is today. You did battle with, I believe it was anxiety back then, but the amount of self-awareness, and that's the key, right? We can't fix what we're not aware of. One of the famous quotes that I love to remind myself and everybody else about is, whatever is outside of your awareness, it's outside of your control, right? And if we don't know that the thoughts that we have are controlling us, that we can control our emotions, right? Then we just basically become part of whichever way the wind blows. And you have experienced and dedicated yourself to so much self-growth and self-understanding. And like you said earlier, just getting rid of anything that doesn't serve you. And sometimes as inconvenient and is almost impolite as it sounds, sometimes that happens to be people, right? If people show us repeatedly that they don't have, our best interest at heart, right? And they repeatedly betray us or lie to us, then eventually something we have to make some tough or not so tough decisions.
You have to make a hard decision. Yeah. I'll never forget the first hard decision that I really had to make like that. So my dad was in a nursing home because he had vascular dementia and Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. And what had happened was there are certain rules that govern how those folks spend their money and how their money gets spent. Because if you get caught spending their money and they've outlived their money, guess who's in trouble? So I decided to let my family go and see my father. And this is with a powwow with the power of attorney and an attorney and a whole army of people. And so I decided how it was going to be, because I told the power of attorney, I said to him, I said, listen, I said, I can't navigate their relationships with him for them at the end of his life. We need to come to some kind of closure point. The only thing that I asked them to do was to pay $7 a piece for the meal, and don't bring their spouses, because people with dementia have divided attention. So my father had become diabetic, which is also kind of common in people with dementia and Alzheimer's. So my aunts brought my uncle-in-laws anyway. And I just remember the staff saw the look on my face, and I think they got scared. They started shaking their head and waving their hands. They're like, no, don't do it. I felt somebody squeeze my arm. Somebody came and squeezed my shoulder. So at the end of the day, with all of that rigmarole, we went in because he kept looking at them talking, because he wanted them to think he was okay. I was distressed because I'm like, this isn't what we agreed on. And my one aunt actually ignored that. And so I said, come on, Dad, it's time to go sing Happy Birthday. And I remember pulling the plate out from him. Have you ever seen a cartoon character like still eating and somebody takes the plate? And I was horrified. I'm like, no, I can't believe they're putting me in this position to do this to him. And then it was a really horrible snowstorm coming in. And I was in some other unique circumstances, which I won't disclose. But at the end of that birthday gathering, the girl at the front desk said, your family didn't pay. I had never been so furious in my life. All I could see was red. So I called the power of attorney, and I called another friend of mine. I said, what would you do if you were me? And so the power of attorney said, well, he said, it's a hard choice, because you have to decide what it is that you're going to do. Do you really want people like that don't care about anyone else in your life? And that started like a whole firestorm of trouble. And then my other friend, he gave me his take on it, which wasn't so nice. I can't even repeat that. And so I decided to cut them all off, because you cannot behave like that and think that it's going to be okay, and that we're still going to continue to deal with you, and that you're committing a crime. That's elder abuse. You were stealing from somebody. You went in, you knew the conditions, and then you stole. And then my mother decided that she wanted to get on that as well. And she told me, well, I'm too old to deal with this. I said, well, then don't ever bring it up to me again. I never want to hear another word. So they were all cut off. Somebody tried to find me on Facebook. I'm like, no, I can't go there. I'm not going to do this with you, because I've seen who you really are. I'm not angry, but I just can't, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, like you said, decisions had to be made, and the most responsible thing to do is make decisions for yourself, right? Would it be okay to? I'm curious about something, Karen. When I first met you, we were talking about metaphors here. I kind of want to say that you reminded me a little bit of curious. Almost like a lioness cub, where you were getting into this career, right? Insurance, which is super competitive, which is really, really hard and harsh. And today, you are like this ferocious, relentless lioness, like fully blown. My question is, because just even before this interview, right, we had a little conversation. And your focus, your dedication, your belief in yourself is like night and day. I remember when we first met, there was so much fear. You had, again, I'm going to repeat the word anxiety, right? And today, it's like I'm talking to a different person. You are such a model of being relentless, believing in yourself. I'm going to say this again, because so many people, we said earlier, so many people have dreams and hopes and wishes, and I think we all should. But very few people actually believe in themselves and believe that they can achieve. So what is it for you, Karen, that drives you, that keeps you hungry, that keeps you devoted, that keeps that certainty and confidence inside of you lit up, because I can feel your body is on fire in the best way.
Well, I'll tell you, my vision
I know
board
it's a
is
loaded question, but we have 10 minutes.
my vision board is continually in front of me. And it's funny that you should say that, because if anyone goes to my Facebook page, that's my agency symbol for Lennox Insurance Group. It's two lioness.
Wow.
Yes, that's why I started to laugh. Yeah. So for the longest time, I didn't believe in myself. I've seen how some people behaved because I'm kind of meek and laid back, and people perceive that.
So it seems.
You know, people perceive, oh, we could just do our kind of way. Well, no, you can't. And I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to let you feel that fire and heat at some point. And I might not say anything, but when I stop talking to you, it's a problem. Ooh. Because that means I'm done. That we're done. Stick a fork in you and you're done. I won't say anything else. I'll just ease my way on somewhere else. And I've taken losses so that I could have a gain. Because everything all the time is a money, 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 money. Sometimes it's peace of mind. It's thinking more clearly. It's being more focused and directed. It's taking control of your physical environment. And it's goal setting. And I've set my goals, and I could see now with the group of people that I have chosen to work with in the end here, I could see where I'm going to get over the finish line, because they care about helping you to do that. So whatever changes I need to make, and I've made a plenty and a great sacrifice to myself. But, when you make a sacrifice and do what's hard up front, you're going to come out on top at the end. And I believe that. Part of the reason why is my little brother, that's a whole nother story. I should say my younger brother. He just had a birthday like maybe a week ago. I promised my father I would take care of him. And on my vision board, it says 18 appointments. And I'm in a position now where I can run 20 set appointments a week. I don't have to do all that work, all that calling. I can have somebody else help me with the hard stuff. And it's helpful to me because of my disability. All I need to do is show up for the appointment, run the appointment with my business partner, and they'll get me over the finish line. Are we going to close everybody? Probably not. But the one thing that they're going to get from us that they might not get from a competitor is that we want to build relationships with people. It's not just like McDonald's Insurance. Hey, give me a cup of coffee to go. I can't stand that. People are not a cup of coffee. They are people. And it's better if you can develop a relationship with them. When you develop a relationship with somebody, you want that to culminate and be good for them as well as it is good for you. I relish the chance to expand my network and foster better relationships with people. And this company will help me to do that, because some of my toughest friends have come in and sat down with me recently, and my business partner. And what's happened is people are like, I don't want to give my bank account number. I said, oh, girl, relax. It'll be fine. I'm not doing that. And I'm like, you could just see the lines in their face ease. And then I kind of start to laugh at them. And then they're fine because, you have to develop relationships with people. These are very tough and trying times that we live in. And it's not just always about you first. It's about other people. And I've learned that in business. And then, two, you're responsible for how you make people feel. Yeah. Do they want to be around you? Would they like to do business with you? Because people have so many things that they judge you on. They judge you on your appearance. You know what I'm saying? It's tougher for women. Yeah. They judge you on your appearance, how you speak, how you interact with other people. Are you nervous? I absented myself purposely from the community where I live so that I could go deep inside and figure out, well, Karen, how are you going to handle it once the turtle comes out of her shell?
I love it. And, you mentioned outside environment, right? But I know for sure that you also have become so good at knowing your internal environment, your thoughts, your emotions, being in control of your emotions, knowing how to navigate through your emotions, learning how to listen to perhaps if a limiting belief should be sneaking in, which they do at times, right? That self-doubt, oh, you can't do that, you're too old,
Yeah.
what are people going to say, right? And I think you have really learned so well to pay attention to that, and here's that awareness again, and know how to eradicate those thoughts, which is really just programming from the past, right? It's just somebody else's
Yeah.
voice or somebody else's intention or whatever they said, and we unconsciously bought into that belief of I'm not enough. And then it kind of sneaks in and it sneaks up, but recognizing it, I think, is worth everything, because then you can change it, right?
Yes, that's quite true. Because sometimes early in the morning, well, I have songs that I play, but sometimes early in the morning, one of those beliefs might sneak in after I've meditated for like 6 or 7 hours a night, because the time my head hits the pillow, the meditation is on before, I'm out cold sleeping. And I think, nope, don't think that way. You might not like them, but they're a lovely person. Yes, they're such a lovely person. And how could you think that of them? Because whatever you tell yourself subconsciously, that's what's going to manifest, and that's what you're going to get.
Yep. Wow. Exactly. Because that is the energy that you have within. And since the universe is our mirror, well, what's going to show up in our universe but exactly what's on the inside? So that's why I think you're, again, such a tremendous model to demonstrate, to truly pay attention and curate what actually goes in, what's already inside, take out what doesn't serve, and also be very deliberate and curative, if that's an American word, to what actually goes in, if that makes sense, right?
It does. Yeah, because I find myself not watching certain types of TV. Like I could watch the news now after having listened to the Genius Wave, and I don't find it nearly as disturbing as I did maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. There are some things that still cause me anxiety. However, I am going to think, well, what am I going to do so these things don't sit so deeply in my subconscious, and what's that going to take for me to make my life look different?
Yeah. And interesting you mentioned the news. I actually don't watch the news at all. I haven't in a very long time, because even though on the surface it seems like news is about delivering the news, and maybe a little bit of that is true, but think about the real agenda. It's a business, right? And they need to drive traffic. They need to drive viewers, right? And what's the best way to get viewers but to show scandal, to show something that's outrageous? And if
you want scandal, you just have to look in your own everyday life. Where could somebody scandalize you at? And that's enough for me.
Thanks, Karen. Thanks for the reminder.
Somebody asked me, you gonna help me run for office? I said, no, girl, I can't do it. She said, what did you do? I said, never mind. But that's just one example. So people like scandal. They like to keep something going, but those are actually very unhealthy habits.
Exactly.
Because that gets in your subconscious and in your spirit, and you're letting negative energy, and whether you want to call that negative energy the devil, you know what I mean? People have many different names for it. I'm like, no. Because some of my friends, sometimes I'll ask them, I listen to them, and I never wanted to be this way as an older adult. My kids are doing this. And I'm like, you're so blessed. You have a nice family. You have a nice mother. You have nice children. Do you listen to what you're complaining about? What do you have to be grateful for?
Yeah.
And sometimes you could lend your belief to another person, and that how can I put it? That will carry them to another place where they didn't realize that they could go or belong. Case in point. So one of my acquaintances, we worked together for a period of time at a girls' club, a nationally known girls' club. And so we both left for probably the same reason and different reasons. And I kept telling her, they're going to call you back. They're going to call you back. They're going to call you back. No, they're not. No, they're not.
Oh.
You know what happened 2 weeks ago? She called me. She said, Ronald called me back and he wants me to come be the executive director.
Oh.
And I told her, I said, come apologize to me because you owe me an apology.
Love that.
And she just hemmed and hawed and hemmed
That
and
is
hawed. I
so
said,
Karen.
I prophesied over you that they were going to call you back. Why didn't you believe in yourself? I said, you know what? I said, you call yourself a Christian and you have such lack of belief. I believed that they were going to call you back.
Wow.
Why couldn't you believe it? And so we kind of left it right there. But when she calls me every morning now, I said, good morning, Madam President. How are you? Yeah, so.
That is classic Karen. Totally.
Yeah.
Karen, can I, would it be okay if I invite you and our audience to a little tiny exercise that's really powerful? Because I know you like meditation, and I think a lot of people could benefit from this as we close up, because we have like about 2 minutes left. Would that be okay?
Sure.
Excellent. And you probably know, and I get this a lot, people often come to me because they feel at the moment stuck or blocked or lost or just somehow no direction, right? Or not quite sure. And when we are in that place, this is what helps me. So for this little exercise, if you want, if you're in a place right now where you can just sit and relax and close your eyes. Obviously, if you're not driving, don't do this. But if you can, just close your eyes. And when your eyes are closed, just make yourself comfortable physically and just become aware, whether you can hear it or not, but just become aware of your heartbeat. You might even notice a sensation of your heartbeat. And then become aware of your breath going in and out, naturally and easily. And just know that just with your heartbeat and with your breath, and there's so much more, when you are sleeping at night, these things happen automatically, naturally. Nothing you have to do, nothing you have to make happen, nothing you have to think about. So there is something inside of you that is making this, that is causing this for you. And of course, we could add digestion and the blood flowing and all those things that are happening in the background. And of course, some people might call this God force or energy or universe, or let's just call it for the sake of simplicity. And knowing if this it is there to breathe you at night when you're sleeping restfully and peacefully, and to make your heart beat, just know, just like that, you can always tune into that, tap into that, and simply ask for guidance, ask for support, ask for answers, ask for gratitude, ask for love, and you will absolutely receive the answers. And as we have just about 15 seconds, Karen, thank you so much. This was absolutely amazing. You and I will continue this conversation. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I really appreciate your time, and we'll see you next week. Take good care.
And thank you for having me. It's always good to catch up with you every now and again.
Thank you. Take good care.
I will.